Hi, I'm Bob Weir with another interview of People in the News in North Texas. My special guest today is Debbie Weir. No relation, although I do have a daughter-in-law in Long Island, New York, named Debbie Weir. But this Debbie Weir is the Chief Executive Officer of MADD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, a nationwide organization dedicated to ending the carnage on our roadways caused by drunk drivers. Based in Irving, Texas, MADD has at least one office in every state in the U.S. and at least one in every province of Canada. Thank you for being here, Ms. Weir.
Thank you, Bob, for having me.
If you would please give our viewers some background on why and how MADD was formed.
Well, MADD was founded in 1980 by one bereaved mom who really wanted to make a difference. And her daughter was a pedestrian killed by a repeat offender. And it really was her friends and family around her kitchen table when they discovered that the driver who killed her daughter was a drunk driver and had been arrested and convicted 3 previous times. How could this happen in the United States? And from her home started MADD, and that was in 1980. We're 36 years old, and I believe MADD has really changed the culture, that it's not acceptable to drink and drive, yet it continues to happen every day. And 28 people a day are killed in the United States in drunk driving crashes, which is unacceptable and 100% preventable every single time.
And how effective has MADD been in reducing the number of drunk driving incidents?
Well, you know, since we were founded in 1980, drunk driving deaths have decreased by over 50%. And much of that is because of all of the laws that we've helped to advocate and get passed to have stronger laws that are saving more lives. But, you know, for us, 50% is good. It's good progress. There's not a lot of organizations and charities that have had the progress we've had when you look at the data of what their issue is. But we want zero. We want 0 deaths and injuries. And we really believe in our future we can end drunk driving when we look and see all of the different technologies that are being researched and developed in the future.
And how has MADD been influential in raising this awareness?
You know, I think our #1 key to the success that we've had is that we are a place and an organization for victims who have been impacted to come to. And many of our volunteers are victims and survivors of drunk driving, and we give them opportunities to tell their story, to hold a picture of their child or their husband or whoever was killed or injured in their family, and to meet with legislators to help advocate to get the change that happens. And then also we work with law enforcement and support their efforts, but also we don't want people to get lost in data and statistics on a piece of paper. We want people to know the human side of the tragedy and the trauma of drunk driving, and that this represents thousands of families that are left behind to pick up the pieces of their life, and MADD is there to help them do that.
How about prison sentences? Have they been increased as a result of MADD's lobbying efforts?
You know, I would say it varies from state to state, but I would say on average in the U.S., if a drunk driver kills someone, you know, their sentence time or their conviction can be anywhere from 3 years to 10 years. If it's a repeat offense, it'll usually be higher, but it really does vary from state to state, and it certainly does vary how much time is served when they're released, and so it's not very uniform.
And your organization has also been effective in lowering the blood alcohol content to 0.08%.
Yes, and so in the U.S. it was 0.10 for many, many years, and we worked like 8 years passionately to get it changed, and President Clinton, when he was in office, signed that bill into effect in the year 2000. And then since then, every state has passed 0.08 as well.
All right, there is also a lot of information about the new technology for cars that don't start if the driver has been drinking. How do you feel about that?
Well, you know, we're all for technology because we believe that technology can save lives. And we always say that drunk drivers drive drunk because they can, because their vehicle is not smart enough not to start if they're at that legal limit and drunk. And so we advocate for current technologies that are available, which is the ignition interlock device. And we've gotten a bill passed in 28 states that requires every convicted drunk driver has to have that ignition interlock device or in-car breathalyzer placed in their vehicle, and they have to blow in it to prove they're sober for their car to start. And that's usually for about 6 months while they're on probation. But there's also advanced research being done on technology, the DADS technology, DADSS, and it's in the invention phase now where they're inventing it and researching it and testing it, but that someday it would be available. So in new vehicles that have the push button, that they're working on technology that they could measure, that push button could measure the amount of alcohol in your system.
It comes through your fingertips.
Through your fingertips, so
Right.
transdermally. And if you're at 0.08 or above, your car is not going to start. It will stop the car from starting. And they're also working on passive breath-based technology as well. And these technologies are showing real promise. They're not on market yet. It's estimated that it'll be ready to go to market in about 2020. And then hopefully the public, when they're getting their new vehicle that could have that as an option, hopefully the public will want to have that technology. And we really believe that in our lifetime, we could see the end of drunk driving due to all of these advanced vehicle technologies, including self-driving and autonomous vehicles as well.
Right, it may take technology ultimately to end it.
Yes, exactly.
How do you feel about sobriety checkpoints and police roadblocks to check for drunk drivers?
Well, you know, we're a big advocate for sobriety checkpoints, and we live in a state, Texas, that checkpoints are not legal and they're not allowed. There's 10 states that don't have that law in effect. And if you look at all of the data, it really is one of the #1 deterrent to drunk driving. And the way that checkpoints work in the states that allow them is you advertise ahead of time. Law enforcement advertises, we are going to be out tonight, we are going to have a checkpoint, so that people would think, oh, I'm not going to go out tonight, I'm not going to drink and drive tonight because law enforcement will be out at checkpoints. It's to keep people from going out. It's not necessarily to catch people that are out there.
Prevention. It's all about
Exactly,
prevention,
absolutely.
Right.
So, you know, MADD, we will work very hard again in the next Texas legislative season to try to get that bill passed.
Let me just mention that as a former police officer, it was my experience that New Year's Eve is one of the deadliest days of the year due to drunk drivers on the roadway. Does MADD concentrate heavily on their advertising and other methods during this time?
Absolutely, and the deadliest time of year for drunk driving is between Thanksgiving and New Year's Day. And last year, the deadliest day of the year was Halloween, and it was because Halloween was on a Saturday, which was a little bit of an anomaly. But New Year's Day is usually the deadliest day of the year because people go out New Year's Eve. There's more socializing where there may be alcohol being served, and but then you roll past midnight and it's New Year's Day, and a very high percentage of crashes on New Year's Day are drunk driving related. And you know, our message really is, and we have a campaign called Tie One On for Safety, our red ribbon campaign that we've had for 30 years, like display the MADD red ribbon, which is just a reminder not to drink and drive. And you know, we really believe that the safest choice is not to drink and drive, and to plan ahead. If you know that your social activity is going to involve alcohol, plan ahead before you go out. How are you going to get home safe? Don't wait till you're in the situation that you could possibly make a deadly decision.
Absolutely.
For yourself or for other innocent people.
Sure,
on the
because
roadways.
one time you're going to destroy some lives, including
That's
your
right.
own,
That's right.
by doing it. So people have to just be thinking about that. Before we wrap up, can I just say, how is MADD funded? Donations, grants, etc.?
Yeah, so we're a national organization and we have a large footprint across the U.S. Our budget is about $36 million a year. Over 50% of our funding comes from individual contributions, but we also have contributions from corporate support, and then also grants as well, bequests, those type of funding sources as well.
Well, Debbie Weir, I want to thank you very much for being here and for all of the work you do through your organization to end this terrible carnage that we see on the roadways every year, so many thousands of lives lost. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. And I would just like to say a thank you to law enforcement for what they do to save our lives, and also plan ahead, use Uber, a cab, or have a non-drinking friend drive you home.
Very good advice, and thank you for watching.